Dougie all tight. Bless FM. Yes, we there. Boom. Back again. Boom. Rap son. All tight raggedy. I mix it down. Yeah.
Alright.
So we mix it, then we mix it down.
Mix it what? Mix it.
Yeah.
Mix it down.
Once it goes out to Raggedy, old tight Raggedy, keeping it going, keeping the vibes going. Standing in for last week, you know.
Yes, sir. And Raggedy, ambassador of the reggae fraternity all over the world. Ambassador. So, big up to Raggedy.
Boom. But we here, you know, me and Dougie. Sometimes we unfair, you know. We darker than the rest, that's why we unfair, you know. Right on, Bless FM, yes, star, we here, you know. We here, you know. We chat and we not care, you know. Hey, big up the family.
Every single time.
Cause we here, you know. Men are lean, we unfair, you know. Look pan we see here, you know. And look pan we here, you know.
Alright.
Men are lean, we unfair, you know. We not fear. We not care. Dougie.
Yes, sir. First one, big up to the Bless Radio fam. And big up to the DJs and fellow presenters on Bless Radio. But I want to make Jammers come a little flow because he look like him there on a flow thing.
But what is what that?
Oh, you find a rhythm flow, Rasta?
When the man drop one, so we drop one as well. Hey. We not bother stray.
Hey.
Boom. Boom. 100 away out. So me and Dougie they like we dip in a pot. Make the other sound like them rats. Make them run like them a rat. We coming out the wiser than a damn alley cat. And me say that. Easy the Dougie. Easy up, big up Raggedy. All the family.
Hey, run that one again, Russ. Lyrics,
a freestyle and a four style. Hey, we there, you know. Me and Dougie say we at this, we there, you know. Hotter than a pot, hotter than a pepper stuffing in a damn pot. Make the other sound like them box them a rat. We are wiser than a damn alley cat. Chase them out like them a alley rat. Hey, what that? Now we have the zebra, you know. We move like a zebra. Catch them on the pond the crossroad like a zebra. Hey, no lie can go on us so that we don't drown a lion. Cause like come on, a lion. We come with the zebra. Hey. And the last one that we're gonna go in on the reasoning session as we enter inside. Boom! Some of them say, but what them I say? Me can't understand them what them say. If they not say nothing, then stay away.
Hey,
what do you say? What you really saying? Boom!
Boom family.
Fire go burn. If you not say nothing, run. Word sound and power. You kill sound for fun. Easy now. Some of the big mouth but they not say nothing. And as Dougie say, they go on like them done, but when the real man come along, they run like imposter. Don't say nothing. Mine they got burn you, you know. Easy the Dougie. Last one and then we start the reasoning. So sorry. Me find out that you beg, steal and borrow the record. You don't have no dub player. You only plate you have in your yard. Where you have your chips and your pork, your fraud. You don't have no vinyl record. What you say? Big up the family, the management, bless. No less, we don't need to impress, but big up the empress. Don't come with nothing that's worthless. And we don't claim to be the best, we just bless. East, north, south and west. What you saying? As the youngsters will say, what you saying, mate? Well, dog, you have nothing to say.
See it there.
Once again, picking up each and every one of the family. This is Bless, right? Going across your global stratosphere, hitting your hemisphere in your cranium. Fire, come fi take your little liar. We play music, we now perspire. Some of them a move like them burying at the mire. We them admire. Man, you're burning at the fire. Come fi take your little liar. Do it, y'all. Well, doggy, that was a little piece of the introduction, the intro. Right now it's time to go G.O. Go. Inside goes out to each and every one. This is Bless FM to the family. Live reasoning start right now. Bigging up the Raga D every time. Doggy, come in.
Yes, sir. First, I want to give thanks and praise to the Most High. Give thanks for life. Give thanks for our ancestors. And the reality is that if it weren't for our parents, we wouldn't be here right now.
And parents means the pair of entities. That's why it starts with the word pair. And it gets ENT, the pair of entities that put us together, that we come here and bring up the ancestors and the predecessors of the ancestors. Goes out to each and every one.
Yes, sir. And that's why we give thanks for our grandparents. Because if for our grandparents, our parents won't be here. And that's why we give thanks for those who come before us, who made down the sacrifice and laid down their life.
That's right. The ones who come before us, they're the real famous ones, you know. And me and Dougie coming up on combination every time. We stand before you on our onesies to put to you. 1 minute, let me get this right before. We're chatting a number, everything we chat rhyme, because we come with free with mine. We stand there before you, that's 4. To put to you, 2 + 2 is 4. Oh, we lost our freedom. You take 1 from 3, that's 3. Because we left our forefathers. We forsake our forefathers. Left our youth looking for fathers. Lost in the forest with no place for us. Looking 4 ways to find their fortunes from our missing fortunes that unfortunately was taken for our forefathers. For one to be free, we have to go back to how we was before. Come in, Doggy.
Yes, sir. Rhythm and flowing of rhythm and what we can't do is that we cannot pay those who come before us with material things, but what we can do, you know.
And what we can't do what cannot be done, because we can do.
Yes, sir. And what we can do, make a world a better place for those who come after us.
And what you can do is follow the reasoning and rise above us.
See it there. So we cannot pay it back with material things, but make a world a better place for those who come after us. And that's what we are doing. We are doing some real talk and true talk. See, I mean, I know ism and schism, and if you don't like it, you just bite it and smoke your pipe with it, because we don't know arms horse right about no.
That's
and
right.
We're here to give the truth, nothing but the truth and the absolute truth. Zubada babada babada
Babada boom boom boom, and when we come, we're just filling up our room inside. We take the material, turn it into imperial, you know.
There. Yes, sir. So I want to give thanks and praise every single time. But you know, son, we're expecting a call about 7. I'm expecting another brother be coming just after that, coming some reasoning. And today, Jammers, boy, I know Jammers a great man, but boy, the man in him greatness, you know what I mean?
Respect, bro.
You know what I mean? Where a man was feeling a bit low, bit too sure of himself, and when the man done, the man come like a heavyweight, and in fact, we start to envy him because it might bring some stories to us, man, and what John was done today by tapping to the man's potential. He said to the man, "What's he good at?" And he said, "I love dancing. I used to dance." And that moment, no, the man was able to talk about the experience of dancing, how he loved dancing, he used to teach dancing, or he checked the women through the dancing, etc. And the man just changed overnight. Why? Because he's able to tap into their full potential. See, let me talk about potential very, very quickly, right? You know, I remember, right? There's a my friend was talking about this particular car, right? And the car had one of them car where he said the car is kind of ugly, right? And he never liked the color of the car, right? But the man said to him, right? The car said, just show me the highway and I will get you there, right? The car now make no fuss over what color it is, what shape it is. It's the potential of that car. You remember the woman, Susan something, who sang at the, what do they call it? You know when people sing on TV, what do they call the competition again?
X Factor.
X Factor, right?
Susan Boyd, is it?
See it there. When she came, people looked and I said, "Ugh, what's she doing there? Look at her, she looks fat. She don't look very attractive, right?" But the moment she sang, people said, "What?" You know? She frightened them.
You frightened me just then, Dougie. I tell you the truth. I didn't feel he was going to stop that scream there.
People got frightened. People got frightened because what came out of her mouth was her full potential. So potential is the unseen, right? And that's what we have, that potential. We need to tap into that potential and let it come out. Yes, Jammers, you are on comment.
And as you said, not what we have, you have it as well. So it's not a bossy thing. We don't, even though we like the tune bossy, but it's not a bossy thing. We're just saying you have hidden potential. Like it's the pot that's we need you that you can maximize. You have the capability to do more than you think you can. So when you go beyond the thought process, you can tap in that hidden power to maximize your potential, and that's what we are dealing with. You know, the real thing.
The real thing. And you see, you know, if you take an apple, right, and inside the apple there are seeds, right, but if you put those seeds in the ground, right, those seeds will eventually grow into a tree, right, and on the tree there are apples, and apples, seeds, tree, apple, seed, tree, and eventually you have a forest. Right? So the point I'm trying to make here, the unseen potential. And that's what we have. And that's why it's very important to tap into our full potential. We know that Ragga has a love for music. Though you have a love for music, he just feels music. Right? No, he just feels music. He's a historian when it comes to music because that is his full love and his full potential. Jammers have a love for words, right? Not only he just loves words and eat words, he can spell words, and not many people can do this, words backwards. One of the longest words, right, out there, and Jammers can spell it backwards, right? Earlier on, Jammers was watching something on YouTube, and Jammers get to understand the man might be an imposter because there's certain things he's not aware of, right? Because you have to the real recording, looking at the man students work and say, look, yeah, you're not really quite ready for this thing yet, you know what I mean, right? Because you know, so, Jammers, you know what made me laugh? You know, you have these people who say that they're Elvis Presley.
Oh, yeah.
Elvis Presley, right? But the funny thing is that if the real Elvis Presley come, the motherfucker sit down, it's like people say that there is Jesus Christ. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Literally, people walk around. There's people walk around in place. I said that they are the
real thing.
The real thing. But the real Mackay come.
That's right. Like certain people say them, the masters are English or whatever, so-called professors.
Yeah.
But they can't even say the longest word in the word. Longest word in the world in English language. Few mono ultra microscopic silicoconiosis. I'll say it again one more time. Few mono ultra microscopic silicoconiosis. Most of them so-called English professors can't even say it, much less spell it or break it down. Well, I'll say that from another time zone.
Yeah. Well, just break that down for because you have me hypnotized by that. Hey, if people are listening right now, boy, this is the real.
Slow it down. Few mono ultra microscopic silicoconiosis is supposedly the longest word in the English language. It has more letters than the alphabet.
See there.
And to break it down, you have to break it down backwards because read means to look backwards. So I'll break it down backwards. Iosis means condition. Like you see, diagnosis. Iosis means condition. Con means with. You know, so the condition with. Volcano means hot. The condition with heat. Silico means particle. Silico means particle. Microscopic means that you can see. That you can see that is very small. Scopic means see, like see through a scope. Micro means small, like in Microsoft means small software. So the condition with burning small particles that you can see that are very small. Ultra means very small. So the silicon of burning particles that you can see that are very small. That causes mono means one breath. So it's the silicon of very small. It's a condition with burning from hot particles that are very small that you feel on your lungs because one breath means lung.
Okay.
That's the breakdown of the word.
That's the breakdown of the word. Okay.
And the man that was claiming to be expert was trying to break down the word prophecy. And he said the word pro means before, which is correct, like produce, production. But he said see means to see, which is incorrect. Prophecy comes from the word pro means before, and fet means speak. So prophet speaks before it happens, not sees before it happens, speaks before it happens. The see in prophecy is what you put at the end of a noun. End of a noun to make it abstract. You're like accurate is something that you can do. Accuracy makes the noun something you to think about. Appropriate is something that an action. Appropriately makes it something you think about. So the C makes the word something to think about. So so prophet means to speak before, not to see before.
Not to see before. Okay then. Again, the Jammarster Show. This you have it, the great man, the wisest man, the kings of kings, the lords of lords, the conquering Lion of Judah, Jammarster inside the show with us right now, alongside brother Dougie. Also inside the house, we have beautiful brother Raga D, and behind the scene, the technician, brother Leon, inside the house as well. See, right? So, what we're going to do now, because we will be...
Well, live transmission today as well. Big up the live transmission family.
Yes, sir. You know, so what we're going to do, because we will spend a little bit later on, because just checking the time. We got a bit of time, so we're in good hands, right? But it'd be wise for jammers just to let us know what's happening this weekend, because this weekend there's so much things going on. There's the Father's Day, what's happening in Stoke Newington, and I'm glad that's on a Saturday because I thought it was a Sunday and I wasn't able to make it, but it's Saturday. And this Sunday, all roads lead to the Speakers Club was taking place at St. Anne's Library. You know, and it's going to be a serious vibration. So, Jeremy, let people know what's happening this Sunday, my brother.
That's right. Love it like a thing from a blessing from above. Make sure you come and down to the library. There's no lies going to be at the library. It's the only place to be this Sunday. The Sunday, we're going to put some lights in the library, and it's going to be the Speakers Club first event of 2019 is here this coming Sunday. Make sure you're there. It's going to be once again the Windrush Legacy Showcase taking place at St Anne's Library, Sisbury Road, N15, 5PU. Once again, Speakers Club 2019, and we're going to be having live in the house a cultural market. Also, I'm going to be doing a public speaking workshop, comedic communication versus articulation, alongside Buzzy B. That's going to be taking place from 4 till 5, and that's that. Come down there to make yourself alive. Right? You can even come if you got a P45. Make sure you arrive before 5 at 4 till 5. That's a live Speakers Club workshop. After that, we're going to be showing exclusive controversial film called Albinism. Controversial film, and there's going to be a live discussion on this film. A film not to miss. If you miss, you're going to diss. So make sure you come down to this. Maybe some music as well be played so you can wind, jump, and twist. So make sure you come down and listen to that's a film taking place at 6 o'clock sharp on Albinism, followed by the usual combination of Speakers Club hosted by Brother Dougie himself, with BAP featuring BAP, and then you the audience seeing if you can maximize your speaking potential. Can you break down your meanings and your words inside a minute? Come down and test your speaking ability. The Speakers Club 2019. Buzzy B will be there. The whole family. Dr. Abu will be there. Rock and come in, and Brother Dougie.
Yes, sir. Gonna come in on it, And again, that's Father's Day. That's this Sunday, and enough people's coming out, enough people looking forward to this. And it's a family event. So please bring your father, your uncle, your brother, whoever, and let's have a family day out and full jar with self, because you learn more in a fun environment, and that's what it's about, creating that fun environment and having fun. See? Yes, sir.
Yeah, and if you're poor, lowly, and in a famine, there will be food there, so come down and join the family. Don't be in a famine. Come down, we'll have food there, so join the family. The only place to be, and it's Father's Day, so don't be far. If you're a father, come down right there, and we will intermingle, and reason.
Absolutely right. And we will come a bit more about the Speakers Club a little bit later on. Just to let people know, the following week, and that's Saturday, 22nd of June.
And it coming soon, so once again, the 22nd of June.
The truth about mental health, And I have to give thanks to man like Jammers, because me and him had a conversation. He was breaking down some words. And one thing Jammers says that if you told yourself you've got mental health, if you say you got mental health, you've told yourself you've got mental health. See? But you say you've got a powerful health, you've told yourself, we're talking about the subconscious level, you've told yourself, everything's from the subconscious. See? And one thing James was saying to me, that why would you watch a lousy movie over and over again? A movie will make you depressed. A movie will make you cry. Why do you want to bring up that images all the time, right? I can understand, in terms of reconnecting and find out certain things, but it's happened. It's there. It's an experience. You got to learn from it and move on. See? So we need to understand from the subconscious level that we need to empower ourselves with words. Empower ourselves by watching. A movie will make you laugh. Uplift you. I mean, a lot of people say that comedies, they get a lot of satisfaction by watching comedy. And I can understand why. Because it make you laugh. See? This is something I got from James, that most people strive to what? To be happy. To be loved. To be key. You could be the baddest man in the world, You could kill all 100 man, but at the end of the day, when you're by yourself, man, you want to be, what I mean? You look for some kind of love, care, and then you want to be happy. See? So it's all about changing the whole mindset. Look at our beliefs. If you look at the word beliefs, in the middle of the word belief, there's a word called lie. So there's a clue there. See? Anyway, coming back to the event on the 22nd of June, the truth about mental health. The time is from 3 to 8. And the theme is, what is mental health? Stroke emotional health. And the question asks, why do so many black men find it difficult to discuss their problem? Why do we find it difficult for black men, we talk about, to discuss their problem? And a lot of the way we've been wired, we've been taught, wall it down. Nothing wrong with you. You're good, bud. Just wall it down, wall it down, wall it down. That time there, you're feeling it. You're feeling it. You want to cry, and you got to hold it down, and something's got to give. It's not wrong saying, well, boy, I don't feel too good. I don't feel happy about a certain situation, and just express that. Sometimes you ever go in the park with me screaming and shouting, just let it out. Let it out. That's why me and Jammers and Heskiv, we're involved with Men with Voices, and it's more of a men just come together, and in a circle, and we talk about how's your week been, what's bothering you, anything, and you just talk, let it out, let it out, let it out, let it out, and see how we support each other. And what we're saying is that we have to look at things from a holistic approach. See? So one thing we'll be discussing is things like religion, relationship, society, law, drugs. Drugs play a very important part in our mental health. Because what happens is quite interesting, because if you feel a bit anxious or feel a bit fed up or depressed and whatever, you take some, most people take some drugs, right, just to calm them down, or feels are going to calm them down. But what that does, it puts you deep into more depression. See? So, as John was saying to us, that we need to do things what make you feel good, organically make you feel good. Exercising, walking, whatever the case may be, right? One of the things that was very liberating today, we were talking to this particular individual, and it so happens that he used to love to dance. And in fact, he used to checking the phone with you dancing and thing, and he was talking about that. And there's nothing about it. What he should be doing now is dancing. Because that's his joy, that's his love. Yep. And what's going to take place is going to be some workshop. We have Melvin Barrett talking about the power of clarity. And I know that he was speaking from 3:30 to 4:15. And then we have Lyndon Wizard, who will be talking about, and this is Jammer's area, the power of the mind and language. So we focus a lot of stuff around language, the words we use. That's from 4:30 to 5:15. Also, we're going to have my brethren, Kinsu, we're talking about the impact of family and relationship related to mental health. And also we have Philip Hawkes. We're talking about taking responsibility for your health. So those are the workshop. I've been room 2, and in room 1 we have different panel and question and answer. So two things began on the same time. This is at the West Indian Cultural Centre. That's 9 Clarendon Road, Hornsey N8 ODJ. And more information, contact is 0788-240-3871. I repeat, 0788-240-3871. See? So that's going to take place on the 22nd of June, and this Sunday, all roads lead to the Speakers Club. I've got a flyer in front of me, and that's very quickly I'm going to let people know about the Auntie Jean's and African village, and there's a family fundraiser, and there'll be a concert, and that's St. Lawrence Center, 37 Bromley Road, and that's SE6 2TS, and there'll be a lot of storytelling, activities, and magic. And tickets are only £10. It's for a good cause. You've got tickets in advance, and £15 on the door, and it's only £1 for children. And yeah, so more information, please contact Auntie Jean on 07961 886 032. Yeah. All right then. So we are going some. We have some music lined up for us, brethren.
No, I was just gonna play a little bit of the actual event that's taking place on Sunday. Just to
Just liven up people.
let people get some of the vibration once I can tune it in myself. So if you just stay focused, we will get you to that place where you need to be to undertake some of the vibration that is taking place on this Sunday. And once again, that's taking place at the Speakers Club, St. Anne's Library, from 2 till 9 p.m. Once again, it's a fully loaded event, all about sharpening up your speaking skills, testing your knowledge, also celebrating the contribution our parents made to this country, and we are the legacy that has been left behind. So we're encouraging the family to come out for this event and to participate.
The Speakers Club 2019 presents Windrush Legacy Showcase.
The Speakers Club Windrush Legacy Show. Whoa! 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 Cultural market. If you see something, you let them walk past it. Movie screening. Come watch a film with meaning. Public speaking workshop. Give you knowledge for your head top. Forward recording. Have enough top artists performing. The Speakers Club Windrush Legacy Show. Whoa! The Speakers Club Windrush Legacy Show.
That's right, that's taking place this Sunday. Make sure you make it a date. The Speakers Club 2019 Windrush Legacy Showpiece. And do remember, once again, Cultural Market. There'll be a public speaking workshop, also a film screening and BAP Theatre with you, the audience, giving us your viewpoints and your views on the contribution to the Windrush Legacy. So make it a date. Do remember, this Sunday, St. Anne's Library, Sisbury Road, N15 5PU. For further information, you can contact me on 07931 417 553. Once again, 07931 417 553 for tickets, stalls and information. And Brother Dougie on
07882403871. I repeat, 07882403871. So please ring for more information. And there's a couple stalls left. So if you want stalls, please contact us. There's literally no more than 2 more stalls left. So all the stalls practically. So I think there's probably about 1 left. Yeah.
And also do remember, once again, next week, the following week, You got the West Mental Health Show, and you see this society. The problem with this society is it thinks it's moving forward. All it's achieving is making you move forward. So it's taking you forward in its treatment of so-called mental illness, but all it's doing is taking you forward. So this is the problem with it. It's basically. If you're on your mobile phone, you didn't see the stone, you tripped over the stone and fell in the mud. Would you go back the next day to trip over the stone again, to fall in the mud, to think that's going to give a solution to the trauma that you experienced the first time round? And this is how they deal with issues, is making you go back into the trauma to bring it back into the surface again. So this is why we're breaking this cycle, of misdiagnosis that's taking place on us as a community. That is not falling for the solutions. Once again, statistically, the so-called experts are the biggest failures when it comes to numbers in the prisons, the miseducation, the falling qualification results, the broken marriages, the alcoholism, the criminalism, the abuse that's suffered on the western side of the planet is higher than anywhere else, and this is supposed to be where all the universities, the most literature and the most analysis and is taking place on treatment. But statistically, they are the biggest failures in relation to treating illnesses. Dougie.
Absolutely. And I'm glad Sir Jam was able to touch on that, because one thing we were discussing, and we're looking to turn things on his head now, because there's been a lot of misinformation, right? And one thing we say to people that you need to question everything. It's not a question about what I'm saying is right or what Jam is saying is right, and whether question and do your own research. Do your own research, and that's the way we're going to move forward as a collective mind, move forward and question every single thing what's out there. Question the words, and what is their motive, what is their agenda, See? So we need to understand that we're up against a system. Now, I'm not going to here just blame the system, but we need to know what we're up against as a first thing, right? And then what we need to do now is start to think out of the box now a little bit now, and start to question everything and see how we can start reverse the situation what we find ourselves in, or a situation what we see this certain people are in, seeing, because what is a problem, there's a solution, right? What's very liberating is talking. What's very liberating, again, is going in the park. What's very liberating is changing your lifestyle and your diet. See? And going on course. What's very liberating is find a passion, what you love. And at the same time, how you can make money from it. See? So the solution's really within. Just got to apply yourself and be committed. Just that'd be great to start, but you have to start to be great. See? So it's all about turning things on his head now. And you have to be truthful. You do have to be truthful. Yes, Jammers, you want to come in?
The solution is in nature itself, basically. If you look at yourself as a vehicle, you look at the car as a vehicle, you know that when you drive the car, the fuel that you put in it is going to cause how it's going to function. So if you look at yourself as a car, then you know that if you put petrol in a diesel tank or diesel in a petrol tank, it's going to malfunction. So the first essence, of functioning, and do remember that your brain functions as well from the fuel that you give your brain. So the first essence is what you supply to your vehicle. Okay. And I think we've got the first call of the day.
Coming through. Oops. Greetings.
Yes, greetings, McConan here.
McConan. Oh, sorry, beg your pardon, McConan. Well, I did say that we're going to have a special guest going to join us. And this brother is a very powerful brother. We had a conversation couple weeks ago, and I was really taken back by what he was sharing with me. I was looking around, see there was a helicopter or a limousine going to escort the man from this particular event I saw him at, because this man is a super don. He's a young. I must say I'm a lot more older than him, But I mean, when I hear him speak and talk about the kind of works he's doing, I was really taken back by this young brother, very powerful, beautiful brother, and I'm really glad that he's able to join us on this, on the call here, and we're gonna have a conversation, But my brother, we have to go straight in the cheers, because it'd be wise. And also we have Jammers inside the house as well. Jammers, you know his brother.
I think I briefly heard him. I think was he at your show last time?
No, yeah.
Okay, no.
No, but I think you said you saw the book with Buzzy B.
Oh yes, the book. Yes, I did.
Yeah.
I saw the book. Yeah.
So my brother, I wonder if you could just give a little background about yourself and a little bit about the book as well. Yep.
Yeah, man. So I just want to make sure that, can you guys in the studio hear me clearly?
No, man, we get you good, man. And we got you on YouTube and everything, so you're live, man.
Okay, I just want to say greetings to Jammers, who's also in the studio with you.
Yeah, man, give
before I'm
thanks.
just going to start. So myself, I'm McConnell Sankofa. I am part of the Luton Black Men Community Group. So I live in Luton, and one of the organisations there, I'm part of Luton Black Men Community Group. We put on various different events throughout the year. So some of the events that we put on are film screenings. So we do different film screenings. It could be stuff like Hidden Colours, The Motherland, and various educational movies such as 7 a.m., etc. We also do other events and work in conjunction with other groups as well. So we've worked with the Diaspora Debating Association, so they came to Luton and hosted a debate there about issues affecting the black community. We also do events that we hold such as seminars. A couple of weeks ago, we had a seminar about travelling and repatriation to Africa. And we also have done seminars about economics, where people come up and they've got different business initiatives, whether it could be trading, it could be investing in property, and various different other initiatives that people can get involved in. Also, I'm part of the African Heritage Network of Luton. Now, the African Heritage Network of Luton, we put on Kwanzaa events in Luton.
Okay.
And we're also one of the organisations that are part of Kwanzaa Network UK, along with various different organisations. So the last few years, we've been working with other organisations under the umbrella Kwanzaa Network UK to put on Kwanzaa events in London. And a few years ago, we had the 50th anniversary of Kwanzaa, which was very well celebrated, and we was one of the organisations that was heavily involved in that event.
Yeah.
I myself had a video that went broadcasted on BBC 3 Facebook page, and it had 30,000 views to promote Kwanzaa. So that's just a little bit of a background about myself.
Okay then. So I want to talk about the book. And I wonder if you can just a little background of the book. What's the title of the book called? Is Rastafari?
The book, The Rise of Rastafari.
Rise of Rastafari. Yeah. What made you want to write about Rastafari? And that'd be the most intriguing question to me. And what's your link with Rastafari? Yeah.
Okay, so the reason why I wanted to write about Rastafari is myself, I'm a Rastafarian. And I wanted to highlight, really to put to bed some of the misconceptions people have about Rastafari, because a lot of people might see someone in dreadlocks or someone smoking ganja and think that's Rastafari, but that's not Rastafari. So they don't know exactly the principles. A lot of people don't know the principles of Rastafari and the history of Rastafari as well, how it started, what we believe in. Rastafari really is a Pan-African movement that is based on the upliftment of people of African heritage, whether it's spiritually, politically, economically, culturally. We believe that we should build a strong black nation, that we should be self-reliant, acknowledge any kind of divinity within ourselves, and look towards Africa to repatriate. These are just some of the fundamentals, and we regard Emperor Haile Selassie as someone that we should look up to, whether it's as an idol, God, or Jesus Christ, depending on what mansion or what organisation you're from. So there's that was one element I wanted to give an understanding of exactly what Rastafari is and the background to it. So in the book I go through the whole history of Rastafari, how it really started as a black liberation movement. It's a Pan-African movement, especially in the context of us from the diaspora being taken out of Africa and brought to the places in the Caribbean like Jamaica, where we was made into slaves, and the fact that we lost our culture, identity, and we was really brainwashed and seasoned during slavery into a very Eurocentric mentality, which a lot of us still have today. And then the people like Marcus Garvey is a Pan-African activist, and he was trying to say to black people to uplift us, and he set up a Universal Negro Improvement Association, African Communities League, which had various different businesses, and it had millions of black people all over the world. And he was saying that we need to look towards Africa for our king or our redeemer, and if we're going to acknowledge and stop acknowledging martyrs and heroes of other races, that if we're going to see divinity, we need to see it within ourselves.
Right.
So when Emperor Haile Selassie became emperor in 1930, it was very important. The ones like Leonard Percival Howell was one of the first fathers of the Rasta movement, along with Archibald Dunkley, Joseph Hibbert, and Robert Hines. They pointed to Haile Selassie and the significance of Ethiopia being the only African country at the time that had an emperor that hasn't been colonized. Because at the time it was only Ethiopia and Liberia were the only two independent countries in Africa, but Liberia was the previous colony of USA. So Ethiopia to this day is not being colonized, and what Haile Selassie represented as the only visible emperor on the continent at the time, a crucial point in world history, where we was under real attack on the continent. It was significant. I mean, some Rastafarians see it more as a biblical perspective. I take a more natural stance to Rastafari, and that's something unique about this book, because a lot of books about Rastafari, they've got Bible quotes, or they're more from a biblical stance. But there's throughout history there's been Rastafarians that have seen it more from a natural perspective. And I would say I take the stance of more of like a Muta Baruka, who looked at looking at Rastafari beyond the Bible.
Right.
So that's another important reason why I wrote the book as well.
Right.
And again, highlighting the founders of the Rastafari movement, the names of the name that I just mentioned earlier, because a lot of times they get overlooked.
Right. Let me. There's so much questions I like to throw into the mix, but you have to be quite. There's only one question at a time. But one of the question will be now is the question about Rastafari. What does Rastafari means? It means the head of the creator. What does the word mean, Rastafari?
So Rastafari is a title. I've heard people once saying that it means head creator, but it's a title that was given to Emperor Haile Selassie. Now, Emperor Haile Selassie was crowned in 1930, Emperor of Ethiopia. But before that, he was known, when he was regent and governor of Ra, he was known as Rastafari Makonnen, and that's where I got my name from, Makonnen. Now, Rastafari really is a title. Some people say it means head of the army or head of creator, but I'm not one to really validate it as head of creator, but it's a title given to him.
Oh, it's a title given to him. Okay, then. Yeah. All right, then. Another question I want to throw into the mix, and you probably get this question all the time, that, and correct, if I'm misrepresent information here, I do stand to be corrected, my brother. But one of the question was, when Garvey met here Selassie, if I'm not mistaken, was it in, I can't remember which country, but he did say to Haile Selassie, why is it you're not at home fighting with your people in your country?
Was that when he went back to Bath? Was that during the 1935 to 1941 when during the Italian?
Yes. Well, you were able to correct me, because I just heard this kind of reasoning come up. This has been years ago, to be honest with you. So I'll
speak about that. Yeah, because basically, for those who don't know, between 1935 and 1941, the Italians went to invade Ethiopia. So Benito Mussolini, who was the prime minister of Italy, he wanted to build an empire like ancient Rome. He wanted to build a powerful empire, and obviously, as Ethiopia was the only African country that wasn't colonized, he wanted to go into Ethiopia to build that modern ancient Rome-like empire. So they invaded Ethiopia. Now, during the invasion, the Italians had weapons, which were much more superior than the Ethiopians.
Okay, then.
Because the Italians, they produced weapons in Italy.
Right.
The Ethiopians, they didn't have the kind of weaponry to really to combat the Italians. So Haile Selassie went to the League of Nations, which is now known as United Nations, in Geneva, Switzerland, and made an appeal because both Italy and Ethiopia were part of the League of Nations, and he said that this is a breach of the League of Nations agreement because it prohibits one country from invading another country that's part of the same organization.
Okay, then. Okay.
Yeah? So he went to them and said that, no, but you're breaking the rules of this constitution because it says that you can't invade another nation. Also, Haile Selassie, he went to get support because, as I mentioned, the Italians' weaponry was superior to the weaponry that they had of the Ethiopians' weaponry. However, no one at that time issued to support Haile Selassie. Now, Haile Selassie did say that obviously it's along the lines of it's us today, but it will be you tomorrow. And later on, World War broke out. But what I'm trying to say is that he went to League of Nations to get support. He wasn't denied support, and there was actually an embargo placed against about Ethiopian Italians where weapons were not allowed to be sold to the Italians or the Ethiopians. Now, the Italians who produced weapons in their own country, that was okay for them, but the Ethiopians, they weren't allowed to get weapons from places in Europe because there was embargo against it. Now, during that time, Haile Selassie, he went to Bath in England. I've been to Bath in England several times. So I've seen the residence of Haile Selassie. Now, Haile Selassie, he went to Ethiopia, basically more of a strategic move, and then they managed to, the British managed to help the Ethiopians. The reason why they did was because during that time, it was around the time of World War, and the Italians had joined alliance with the Germans, Adolf Hitler. And because they joined alliance with Adolf Hitler, it immediately made, obviously, the Italians were enemies of English the way they saw it. So the English then decided to help the Ethiopians and Haile Selassie to regain control of the country. So the English military and the Ethiopian troops that were on the ground, they fought and they were successful and managed to combat the Italians. And I would say regain the country. I would say Italy occupied the country, but it was never fully colonized. But basically the result was Haile Selassie went to Bath more of a strategic move. Had Haile Selassie not went back into Bath and stayed in Ethiopia, the likelihood is that it would have been colonized by Italy.
Okay then. Well, you see, my brother, it's good to have people like yourself to give us some information about the whole thing about Rastafari, because there's been a lot of, probably, if I'm right saying, a lot of misinformation being thrown out there. And like I said, most people have this kind of stereotype image of Rastafari, and among them smoke ganja and then just read the Bible and all that stuff there. But there's a lot more deeper meaning to it. And one of the things, I rate Muta Baruka. Me rate him, because one thing about him, he gives you clarity. And the funny thing is that with me myself, as growing up as a young youth, I was influenced by Rastafari, by the music and being among certain elders, And in fact, on my way to the studio here, I was talking to an elder, and and I was saying to Jammers that he's one who teach me, right? And people like Joe Bones and them managed to reason with and teach you something about history and about Rastafari, and just talk about life in general, So I'll always be in debt to Rastafari, and it's really good for you, to bring this to the table, the respect Rastafari, because Rastafari is influenced many people culturally, not just in terms of the music, but all over the world,
that's one of the reasons as well why I've written the book, is because this book isn't to convert anyone to Rastafari. So It's not just because I'm a Rastafari and I'm writing a book about it, or so you could be struggle,
Right.
whether that's been in here in this country in the 70s and the 80s, whether it's been in Jamaica, whether it's been the impact on the continent. So Rastafari really needs to be respected.
Need to be respected, man. And also, 1st of August, you know? Yeah, and it's just a vibration, see? Because they're the ones who always talk about going back to Africa and so forth, and, you know? Yeah, man.
Definitely. I mean, yeah, the marches that happen on the 1st of August every year, I think Rastafari are very much heavily involved in it. I think the first one, Rastafari Movement UK, is very much involved in organising the first march.
Very much. Very much.
And in terms of Rastafari, another reason I've written the book is that the contributors, particularly myself, I'm 28, and I find there's not a lot of places that young people that are my age, or even younger, can go to and find out a lot about Rastafari in terms of like community buildings or events, etc. So it's very important as well that the young ones that they understand the legacy of Rastafari, because things like I said, the 70s and the 80s, and how Rastafari was the cornerstone of a lot of black communities, and it helped give people an identity, culture. Let's think about even Jamaica in the 1930s. Even to this day, you cannot say to a lot of Jamaican people that you're African. Yeah. So in 1930s and the 1940s, the concept of having an African king or an African god, that was revolutionary at the time.
Yes.
Yeah, because they would have had a picture of white Jesus, or they would have had a picture of King George on the wall in most Caribbean people's households. So that's why even on the continent, the reggae music, the influence that had the reggae music of the likes of Bob Marley had on the Zimbabweans who were fighting the war to get independence. So these are some of the things. And then even talking about the founding fathers of the Rastafari movement and the principles, which is really based on Pan-Africanism. If you look at, say, Leonard Percival Howell.
Leonard Percival Howell, yeah.
Who was credited of being one of the founding fathers of the Rastafari movement, along with Joseph Robert Hines and Archibald Dunkley, the founders of the Rastafari movement. Leonard Howell built a community called Pinnacle in 1941. He acquired land, 500 acres of land, and they built one of the most self-sufficient communities in Jamaica. It was just like Tulsa, Oklahoma, or the Black Wall Street. Yeah. Leonard Howell was a man that used to go around the streets of Jamaica and give money to people that was poor in the streets of Jamaica because of the money they had at Pinnacle. These are the things about Rastafari that are not often put at the forefront that need to come out.
But I'm just conscious that we've got other people in the studios where we've got jammers, also we have Shola inside the studio. They probably want to ask questions as well, because you know this is quite fascinating, right? But one of the questions I wanted to ask you in terms of yes, actually coming in. The other thing about Bob Marley, because Bob Marley plays a very important part in terms of pushing Rastafari and the whole thing about the reggae culture. I mean, how would you see Bob Marley into all of this? Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, reggae music as a whole, I've written a chapter in my book about reggae music and Rastafari, just like I've talked about the 70s and the influence of it in England, but just concentrate on reggae now, because this is what the question is. So there's a chapter in my book about reggae. Now, I have mentioned Bob Marley. Bob Marley's probably one of the most popular Rastafarians that people know of.
Yes.
But something that people don't know, even his name, Bob Marley's nickname, or Tough Gong, because of Tough Gong Records.
Yes.
Again, that name comes from Leonard Howell, because they used to call Leonard Howell Gong Guru Mara.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Right?
I didn't know that.
A lot of people know that because Leonard in Jamaica there was a lot of Indians, and Leonard Howell he know a lot of Indians, and they gave him the name. The Hindus, they gave him the name Gong Guru Mara. So a lot of the Howellites, the original Rastafarians, they used to call Leonard Howell Gong, and then that's where Bob Marley adopted his name from, Tough Gong and Tough Gong Records.
Oh, I didn't know that.
The significance. But even if you look at Bob Marley played an influential role in the music, in spreading the message of Rastafari globally. But there's also the likes of you have Burning Spear, Gregory Isaac, Freddie Maguire, Peter Tosh. And Peter Tosh sang in one of his songs, "No matter where you're born, you're still African."
Still African,
so no matter where you come from, that's influential. So Rastafari, So I highly respect Bob Marley, but I think what sometimes happens is that Bob Marley, people see him as like the someone who began or a leader of Rastafari, which he wasn't, and we need to understand it as well. So
it's true.
Yes, Bob Marley was a reggae legend and he was an icon.
But sorry to cut you like that, but would you say that Bob Marley it's come more trendy? Because the reason why I say that trendy word, right, is that you find a lot of white people follow like Bob Marley, but don't understand the significance of the Rastafari movement. So it's come more of a trendy thing. Good.
But I say that's not just Bob Marley. That's black people. I mean, so that's not just white people. That's black people in general.
Yes, right.
I mean, that's white and black people. Sorry, that's people in general.
Thanks for correcting me, brother.
Even a lot of black people. Like I went to an event on the weekend, and then I said to her, "What do you know about Rastafari?" As a question, and she was like, "Oh, Bob Marley." Lots. So most people, what they associate Rastafari with, like Bob Marley, lots smoking ganja. So I wouldn't say that's just necessarily down to white people.
Yes, true. It's true. You're absolutely right.
But and again, that's more of a reason again for why this book is so important, because it shows again the people, the founding fathers of the Rastafari movement, and it shows that Bob Marley, regardless of whether Bob Marley was there or not, Rastafari existed long time before he was there. And I'm not diminishing the role of Bob Marley, and I don't want to diminish Bob Marley himself because of the role he played, because he did have an instrumental role on the Rastafari movement and on reggae music as well. But we don't follow the teachings or the principles of Bob Marley at all. He's not a leader in Rastafari.
Okay then. Yes. Just open the floor more because we've got Jammers and Shola inside the house. So feel free to come in. So. Jammers, you want to answer a quick burning question, Jammers, or you want to come in?
Yeah, we've got two language people in the studio. So they come out. They have a unique language style. The Rastafari movement, they've brought a lot of terms to the language. How does that develop?
So a lot of the what terms are you referring to?
Just the whole of like the Irie, the overstanding. There's certain terms in the language that the Rastafari, they've been at the forefront of many things, music, culture, politics. But one aspect that's not really been thought is the language, the influence on the language, even via the music, but the way that the language is put across, that it highlights the consciousness on a different way of looking at things. So have you got any insight on that side?
Yeah, I mean, there's in terms of Rastafari, there's various different languages that they use. Like you're saying, that it could be Irie, everything's all right or fantastic, and it could be some Rastas prefer to use overstanding instead of understanding, or it may not say schism, so instead of saying Rastafarianism, to say Rastafari, or because of a lot of isms, whether it's through fascism, racism, and a lot of isms in the world. Again, the understanding, overstanding of understanding, because you don't really want to deal with anything under, so it's more of a moving forward in the future. To be honest, I personally don't put a great significance on those particular words. It's more than it's more the overall message of Rastafari that I concentrate on. So I don't really highlight those words in my books, because regardless of whether someone uses those words or not, it's really in someone's head or in someone's heart and the works that he's doing, which really that I think someone should be judged on. The same way with the Dreadlocks, I think it's a man should be judged on the work that he's done.
Worst way he's done, yeah.
In that perspective.
I'd just like to say, so what is the future of, how do you see the future of the movement now, in relation to what it's accomplished already and the way it's moving?
Yeah, I'm going to say now, I'm going to compare it to Rastafari abroad, because I myself, I'm moving to Africa, or repatriating in July, and I've been to Gambia twice in the last 6 months, and I've been to Jamaica a couple of years ago as well. So I think there's a difference in England compared to how it is in the continent or in the Caribbean. In England, Rastafari is in a very, very bad state. I think as a community, we know that Rastafari in the 70s and 80s was such crucial in holding a lot of communities together. But I think there's been a parallel in terms of consciousness. I think we could say that communities were more together and that we had a stronger community in the 70s and 80s than there is now.
Yes.
And I think there's been like a parallel of how how the community's gone down. Rasta's kind of gone down at the same time. So I think in England there's a lot of youngsters like my age or younger. They're not really interested in Rastafari, but I think that's partially a lot of that's to do with as well that they don't really know what it is, and they need to be educated on what it is, and also that's down to a lot of the I think the more of the integration, the way we've more assimilated into the communities. Whereas in the 70s and 80s, you knew you were black and someone didn't like you because you were black because NS or the skinheads were at you or people were coming after you. So whereas now we're more like we're more mixed in our communities, and racism's a lot more subtle rather than in your face. So I think that's also played a big part to it. But when I went to Africa or Gambia, it's like the contrast of it. When in England, it's like more you find like people that are older than me, the elders that are into Rastafari. And when I go to a lot of events, it's like people that are 50 and above. In places like when I went to Africa, to Gambia, you find that the youngsters are really into Rastafari. They don't know everything fully. Some of them are more knowledgeable than the others about the theology, but they're at least open to finding out more about it. And it's really the young people, not the elder people, that are interested into it. In Jamaica now, I saw red, gold, and green everywhere. Rastafari very popular. I thought when I was going to go to Jamaica, I thought from obviously it wasn't going to be the case, but it was. It seems still quite prevalent there. So I think it's maybe a problem we've got in the UK with the youngsters.
Okay then. Well, listen. The final question would be is this, right? I could talk to you. You know, you've got so much information and knowledge, and this might be a controversial question, but you probably get this question all the time, right? Can white people be Rastafaris?
Definitely not. The reason, and I'm just going to use white Rastas as a term so you can understand, but there's no such thing as white Rastas, just so you know what I'm referring to, yeah?
Yeah.
But the reason why a white person can't be a Rastafarian is because to be a Rastafarian, you have to be a Pan-Africanist. Now, let me break that. To be a Pan-Africanist, you don't have to be a Rastafarian, but to be a Rastafarian, you have to be a Pan-Africanist. Now, Pan-Africanism is based on the idea that regardless of where we are, as African people with African heritage, that we should all come together for the common collective and put our differences aside to prosper African people, whether it's politically, culturally, economically, spiritually, etc. So, and the first rule of to be a Pan-Africanist is obviously you have to be African to be a Pan-Africanist.
Right.
So that rules them out straight away. Now, also, Rastafari is based on the experience of us as African people that are being displaced in the diaspora, taken from Africa. So it's about one finding yourself. Now, the European people, their culture, their identity, their traditions is different than us as African people.
Yes.
So their path in terms of finding self is not going to be the same as our path in terms of self because they haven't had their culture taken away from them. They haven't had their language taken away from them. This is very much in our parents and our grandparents, in our ancestors' DNA, and we still see it existing today. So this Rastafari was created out of the experience that we've got in the diaspora as people that have been taken away in captivity from somewhere. So and a European person can't come into Rastafari because they're not African, their culture, their traditions different. So they've come through a different experience. So there's no way that a white person can be Rastafari.
Well, my brother, this is just music to the ears, right? I'm just conscious of time because we've got about another half an hour left, right? And we do have another guest inside the host right now. But can you just very quickly let people know where we can get hold of your book from, please?
Yeah, okay. So my book, The Rise of Rastafari, it is available now on eBay. So if you go on to eBay and you search and write The Rise of Rastafari, you can purchase a copy on eBay. I will actually sign it out and give it to you as well, and post it. So you can get it from there. That's probably the best place to get it. I'm also going to be at I think it's the Hornsey Library in North London, for an event they're doing on Saturday, a Windrush event about the Windrush going down memory lane. I'll be giving a presentation about Rastafari at that event at 6:30, and that's the Hornsey Library in North London.
Oh, okay then, fantastic. All right then, so my brother, is that this Saturday you talk about Hornsey Library?
This Saturday the 15th, yeah.
15. Okay, I'm gonna try. From the business, I'm trying to come. I'm going to an event as well, but I'm trying to come down. But listen, brother, we like to reason. I can understand why you want to come down because you've got a wealth of information and knowledge, and you're a young youth, and may I learn from you, man. You know what I mean? I'm gonna say that you are the future. So, my brother, I want to give thanks to you, give thanks to your family, your loved ones, and we'll be speaking. Probably we speak probably tomorrow. You know what I mean? You know?
Yeah, man. Okay, man. Have a good evening.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Give thanks again.
respect for that. Respect. Keep it up. Keep up the works. Respect
sir.
and all the successes to you as well.
Yes, sir. We'll be speaking,
Yes,
man.
sir.
We love it, man.
Okay,
we love
take
it.
care.
We love it. We love it. Okay, then.
Okay, bye.
Yes, what a beautiful car from a very beautiful brother. And boy, that man, he must some wealth of knowledge and wisdom. And the man was just on fire, like him just a warm up into him pace, you know what I mean? When a man just go in a car and him just going a gear, don't go in the first gear yet, not ready to go to second, him just going into pace, you know what I mean? And my traffic drop little question upon him and him just, boy, I don't want to drop no more question upon him because him try, you know, can't test him at all, you know what I mean? That's what it's about, you know? Okay then, so we don't have much time, you know, because my brother inside the wings there, I look at me and I said, boy, we there for one going some serious reasonings. You know what I mean? So we do have Shola inside the house, and this brother is a spoken word, that's poetry, specializes in telling stories. He has a way of telling stories and getting the message out. See? So what's gonna happen now, he'll be sharing some information with us. Right, I'm gonna ask Jammers to probably introduce him on because
I'd like to, I've in passing, we still haven't connected in the proper way, but I'd like to just thank the brother for coming down, taking out time out for his busy schedule. He's kindly donated one
that's
of his
why
books.
I said it's best for you to introduce him on. You know what I mean?
One of his books for the Speakers Club Awards this Sunday.
Okay.
You know, and a signed copy. And yes, I just like Shola because he's another man who's articulated the science of words. So could you just introduce yourself and let the Bless FM family know a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, happy to do that. So big up people, Hashima, which means respect, and love, respect to all of you out there. Let your families be well. May blessings of the Almighty be upon your homes and bless coming in, going out in every way. Remember that there's only one Africa. Remember there's only one blood. Remember that we are one and that we must work together in order to create a new paradigm, a new shift and a new reality in which we reclaim our position as the first people.
Okay, that's powerful. So again, give a little background about yourself and how you got involved in the whole thing of telling stories. Yeah.
So I grew up in a Yoruba household in Manchester, and my dad always used to speak in proverbs. So
Right.
everything that he said, he'd say, a Yoruba man says, before he would tell me something that would correct my behavior or make
Sorry
me...
to interrupt you. The proverb is a wisdom, is it? The wisdom,
Yeah.
a way of telling the story with wisdom.
It is. It's a small way of. So it's like saying things like, it is unwise to jump into a river with both. Oh no, it is unwise to test the depth of water with both feet. You know, so it's a way of going straight to the point, but using something that makes you imagine, so that your inner self understands or overstands, as the brother was saying before.
So is this technical word? So I just want to apply this technical word to the storytelling, because storytelling, people don't realize they use story to hide the science behind it. So what do they call it? They call it, is it an allegory?
Yeah,
metaphor.
Metaphor. It's all in there. Analogy.
Right? Okay. Yes. So, but really, when you throw away all these intellectual words, it's the art of imparting wisdom through a story. Yeah.
It is, and it's also the art of eloquence, because something that not many people really talk about, the way in which Africans used eloquence as a science, so that Africans would chant things into being. The brother that was talking about Rastafari just now would fully understand what I mean when I say chant things into being. Africans would invoke things through words, and the praise singer would be trained for decades before they were allowed to sing praise.
I'm gonna have to stop you there. So now break down what exactly. I know it's a bit difficult. What exactly is eloquence? What is the objective of eloquence? As you said, it's a way, but why and what and how?
Well, to me, eloquence is being able to articulate clearly and powerfully so that the people who are listening not only hear with their outer ear, but hear with their inner ear and with their hearts and feel fully resonant with what is being said. Because eloquence is not just the words, it's the voice, it's how it's projected, it's a way that if the person is in front of the speaker, it's the way in which the speaker stands, moves. It's actually the basis of the arts like drama, theatre, even song and rap and all of those things. They are founded in eloquence.
So is it harmonizing energy then, to put it in its most effective form?
It is. It is because remember that the voice is a vibration.
Right.
Sound is a vibration. So eloquence is part of the mastery of sound, using the vocal cords, but also using the whole body.
Yeah. So I like this conversation at the moment. So you're getting the vibration, you're vocalizing the vibration. You're visualizing the vibration, and then you're putting feeling into the vibration, and then you're expressing it in such a way with the words and the gestures to evoke. What is it evoking in the other person that's receiving it? What does it evoke?
It depends on the intention.
Right.
Because obviously, if I am with a bunch of school children and I want to invoke self-knowledge, I'm going to tell them something that will make them think about something to do with who they are in the context in which they're in. But then if I'm talking to big man in a Pan-African meeting, I'm going to use a whole different range of things and evoke a sense of pride, a memory, because children don't know that there's something to remember because they're still learning what they haven't even learned what they're learning yet. But when we're talking to adults, we're also evoking the memory. Our ancestral memory is actually our genius. And it's not a mistake, since you like language and words, it's not a mistake that words like genealogy, generation, genetics, genius all have that GEN at the beginning. Genius is tapping in to the ancestral codes and awakening them in the present day.
Right.
And eloquence is expressing that.
And there's a next element. Basically, I think the difference between for what you're saying is it's like, as well as communicating with somebody else, you're tapping into your spirit. It's like it's talking from the spirit.
Yeah.
That's what it seems to be. Like you're not just speaking as a Western person would say. It's like you're tapping into your own spirit to be able to pull that out to communicate that to somebody else.
Yeah, absolutely. It's in the modern day, outside of storytelling and outside of any formal kind of art, then if you think of the freestyle rapper, that's what they're doing. Or the toaster, as they used to call them back in the day, is a person that goes into their spirit to bring forth into the atmosphere the words that have impact.
Right.
You know, and that's the same thing, as you say, that a storyteller does. So more time, when I tell a story, I've got some bare bones of the story. But the story that comes out is different every time because as you say, I'm bringing forth. Something is coming from me or coming from the ancestors through me to reach all of us. And since we all have ancestors, my ancestors, your ancestors, all of our ancestors have commonalities. So the message that comes through is a message that everybody can relate to.
Right. So I want to bring you back now. Because you started the story and I took it another way. That you said your father used to speak to you.
Yeah.
Sorry, take it from there again. How you first got into it? Yes.
Yeah. So my father used to speak to me in terms of proverbs. My mum, she used to use books. So when I was young, I read a lot of books, and she used to use. I don't know if you've heard of Aesop's fables.
Right. Yes, I've got a little Aesop's fable that I've come across. So I'm going to start to. So I'm just rearranging so we get the camera gets a better picture of you. You know. So I'm going to actually reconnect with the Aesop's fable. Yeah.
So my mum would use those because I was a willful child. Nothing that people would tell me was good enough for me. I always had to go and find out myself. So I'm one of them child that used to get burned in order to understand that something is hot. You know what I mean? And
what do you think gave you that then? It's just a natural.
That was just how I came.
Right.
I just came like that. It was just it's still part of my character, you know. Except now because I'm older, wisdom has tempered it. So I don't get burnt as much. Yeah.
Just to go into, you said the word willful. Will means future. That's the real meaning of will. So basically, you're full of the future. So this is how we tap into our future. When we access this trick word, it's not really will, it means future. You know, so when you do something like that, you initiate an action, you're predetermining your future. You know, by making those moves that are unrestricted by any restraints, what children do. It's the actual motion of invoking your future into present. So I like what you said there. That yeah.
Well, you were going to say something.
No, well, I'm going to go back still because I'm still a bit interested. A little background about yourself and how you got into the whole thing of storytelling. And I know the spark was from your father and everything. What was the first time you perform and how do you feel?
Okay,
and I just want to get that little background a little bit about you. Yeah.
Growing up, I used to tell stories to people at school.
Okay then.
But not. I didn't know that it was storytelling. I would just make up things and just say them and make people laugh with stories. And then when I had children, I was telling them stories, but I was telling them all those European stories, you know, like the Three Little Pigs and all those kind of things. But I would make them different. Okay. So the way I told it was never how it was written, you know.
Okay then.
And then in 96, I came across this African martial art form called Kazimba Ngoma. Okay. And in Kazimba Ngoma is like capoeira kind of, and it's got a performative kind of element. And we used to do demonstrations and all different kind of things. And we also would do spoken word. If there was a man who could do poetry there or a woman that could do that, they would do that. And one of the brothers who was in Kazimba at that time and now does Dankira is Astamari. Astamari, yeah. He wrote a story called How the Desert Came to Earth.
Okay.
And then he said to me, well, you know what, Shola, you've got a good voice, so I want you to do the voiceover for this story. So I did that. And then a next brother called Levi was supposed to tell that story at this event, but he wasn't well. And then the master, the Mwalimu, called Hamza, he said to me, you know what, Shola, you did the voiceover, you know the story, you're going to have to tell the story. Now, that time, I never stood in front of anybody to tell anybody anything like that. So I was kind of like, I was shook. I was like, no, I can't, no, look, somebody else could, no, we just have to not do the story, you know. And he said, no, you know the story, you're a martial artist, get out there, tell the story, you know. So I did, and the way people received it, I thought, what? Why? Because people were really interested in the way that I told it. So then, what would happen is, I would, in different places, I'd tell the story, but for about 2 years, I only told that story. Because I was afraid of telling any other story, in case it didn't drop the same way, you know. But then after that, I gained confidence. They say practice makes perfect, isn't it? The key thing, though, is At first, I was doing it just as a show. But then I started to understand that my Pan-African mind and everything that I understood about African consciousness and serving the community, Ubuntu, I am because we are because I am, joining together, supporting each other, all of that it's like the storytelling grew through that understanding, and my understanding of that grew through the storytelling. So now the storytelling is different. Now there's a sense of purpose.
Sense of purpose.
In the
Okay.
storytelling.
I see what you're
It's
saying.
not just a show. You know.
But just to talk about stories, because I'm quite fascinated by stories. And the reason why, because I listen to a lot of stuff by Les Brown, Anthony Robbins, and not these motivational speakers and, you know, individuals. And one of the things they have to capture the audience is by telling their stories.
Yeah.
You know, it's quite amazing. And the reason why Les Brown is so powerful is the stories he tells about himself and what he's been through. And you said, well, what if it's really real? And one time I asked somebody, right, you know, if it's really real, what happened? They said to me, it's true because they experienced the same thing what he experienced. One day you talk about he was in some he was in the office, right? He didn't work from the office, right? And what he used to do, he had nowhere to live. So he used to stay in the office, right? And get there early, and people feel sad he was working right through the night and everything, right? And not only him, but other people as well was sleeping in the office as well, you know what I mean? And tell their story. So, but the way he tells stories is so powerful. And to me, once you're able to master the art of telling stories, you can captivate people. Because stories is, I mean, newspaper sells through stories.
Yeah.
Coronation Street, EastEnders, it is through stories. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To tap into people's emotions and all that stuff. You know, there's a science behind it, you know what I mean? And once you're able to master that, you captivate people by telling stories. Yeah.
It's interesting because I came to the understanding that because I can tell stories, I can also do motivational speaking. I also recognized at one point that if I was unscrupulous and I wanted to make a lot of money, I could just go and be a preacher, actually, because I can do that. And I can talk like that. I can captivate people in that sort of way. And so storytelling is like all things. It's not the art form itself. It's how it is used.
It's how it is used. I
It's how
agree
it
with
is
you. It's how it's used, yeah.
You know,
yeah.
so Adolf Hitler was a storyteller.
Mm,
You know,
that's interesting.
he was a storyteller. That's why the whole German nation, he hypnotized all of them through his storytelling.
What about the other one, the Churchill? Was he a storyteller as well? He was a
He
storyteller.
was a storyteller.
He's a great
yeah.
orator, you know? Yeah.
He was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And a poet. So he spoke. I don't like to make comparisons between these two because to me, one of the greatest speakers that I currently am aware of is actually Minister Louis Farrakhan. He is an incredible speaker.
What makes him that?
Because he embodies the art of storytelling in every word. If he wants to make you feel passion, he changes his tonation. He can move from a shouting rant to suddenly be whispering. The way he does it, it's mastery.
Yeah, it's mastery.
It's mastery.
Mastery,
Now, Churchill had a little bit of that. That's why I said I didn't want to
Yeah, yeah.
make too much of a comparison.
yeah.
But when he said, we will fight them on the beaches, we will fight them he's evoking imagery of heroes. He's making bakers and butchers and farmers feel like they can take out the might of the German army.
Yeah.
You know? And it's not a simple thing.
No.
It's not a simple
So
thing.
basically, you're taking energy from the vibration and turn it into fuel.
Yeah.
So you can make a weak person with your vibration an empowered person by the way you've taken the energy, thrown it at that person and turned it into fuel.
Well, you know what's interesting? This is what's interesting. there's this thing that people believe that somebody empowers other people.
Right.
Actually, empowerment comes from the person who is being spoken to. You see, within them is already the power.
Right.
It's not that I give them my power. My vibration might awaken in them
Right.
something that causes them to have access to their own power, but it's not my power. It's not my power. That's why I said there is two sides, because there are other people who will make it seem that you need them to awaken yourself.
Right.
You know, and those are not reminders. There's a brother that I read years ago called Eikwai Ama, and he wrote 2 books that had a massive, incredible impact on me. One was called 2000 Seasons.
Oh,
Right.
I know what
You
you're talking
know,
about.
2000 Seasons,
Yeah.
which was a beautiful, poetic, and powerful book. And the other one was called The Healers. And in The Healers, he said that there are 2 types of people. There are manipulators, and then there are inspirers. So I put myself in the inspirers category. I'm not trying to manipulate anybody to find something that they think that they therefore need me for. You know, I don't want to say anything about like Tony Robbins and all that man there. I did his firewalk experience.
Okay,
So
that's
I actually truly walked on fire through this experience
Right.
that he curated, he facilitated that experience. The thing about, okay, let's forget that I said Tony Robbins. Because I don't want anybody.
Yes,
I don't want
understand.
any people that love Tony Robbins to come hunt me down and kill me or anything. You know what I mean? So all I would say is that there are people who do this thing for the money. So the thing that they tell you, what they ask you to do for yourself,
Yeah.
requires them to help you to do it.
Right.
You know, I am not saying that. What I'm saying is that you yourself, you know what I know. If I tell you certain things, it will remind you of what you already know.
Right.
That is why it's called re-mind. It's going back to the mind, remembering, tying back the body, just like Asa was tied back by Aset or Osiris by Isis. That whole metaphor, that story is about us today. How do we come to self-knowledge? We do it not by going outside, we do it by going inside to remember what's already in us. There are people who can help us to remember those things, but it's not them giving us the power.
Right.
Yeah.
Serious.
Let me just jump in there, because you said something very... So when you talk about going back, the power is really within, what I do agree. How does one connect with that? How does that work? I just want to have some mechanic. How does that work? How does... Yeah, because people are listening right now and say, well... But as you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I do. Because these kind of things can easily just become like mystical, something that doesn't mean anything to anybody. You know what I mean? People say, all right, so the power's within me, but, you know, I've still got to pay the bills, though, isn't it? You know what I'm saying? A good question.
Yeah.
The breath.
All right.
Breathe in. People don't understand this breath thing properly, you know.
I agree 100%.
They don't know. There's no scripture or holy book of any kind that does not mention that in the beginning, life, spirit was breathed into us.
Yeah.
That's our life.
Could you go more into the breath there? You said the breath, which is I'm
Yeah.
interested in. So can you break down how that is the power?
Yes, man. I mean, at the end of the day,
And I'm bringing up the live Facebook family here. We've got Shola in the house here, live
bless up
here,
people.
breaking
Bless
down
up.
the breath alongside Brother Dougie. And we're live in Bless Radio, Know Thyself. So yes, back to you, Shola.
Yeah, so, you know, there are formal ways of understanding the breath. So if you learn martial arts, when I say martial arts now, if you learn proper martial arts, I shouldn't even say proper martial arts, if you learn martial arts properly,
Right.
I should say. Then you will learn about the breath.
Yeah.
Anybody can go and beat down a man with techniques, but that's not what I'm talking about. If you learn martial arts properly, you will learn first of all how to use your body to control your breathing, and how to use your breathing to control your body and your mind.
Yes.
Because fear can make you lose all sense of yourself.
Right.
And one of the most common things that people will confront in terms of fear is a man that wants to fight them. That can unman you in all kinds of ways.
Right.
It can make you into something that you will be ashamed of for the whole of your life, you know. However, if you learn to breathe from your belly and from your core, which the Chinese call dantian. But if you learn to breathe from there, then and to breathe slowly, which you can only do if you practice.
Right.
You have to practice it.
You have to practice
This
this.
is why they call it discipline. You have to disciple yourself to your mission, and your mission is to learn to breathe properly from the core.
Wow.
It's the same discipline that the storyteller uses. So even right now, the way I am talking, I'm talking in this way because I'm using my breath. If I was just talking like this, it's a different thing completely, you know what I mean? I'm not even using my breath properly, so it has can you hear the resonance? Is different.
Right, yeah.
Now, a very easy exercise to do is what is known as mindfulness. Mindfulness is being in the now, being in the present. That's the most simple definition.
Yeah, okay.
And one way of doing this is precisely by using the breath. And what you do is you close your eyes. And when your eyes are closed, you could try this now. So when your eyes are closed, you just pay attention to the feeling of the breath in your nostrils. The beauty of this is you can always feel it because it's always there. It's always there. It's your resource. So you pay attention to the breath in your nostrils, breathing in, breathing out. Things will occur to you, shopping lists, what your woman said to you when you were going out, your children, all different types of things. But if you bring your attention back to the sensation, then your mind can settle and relax. And then you take it deeper into paying attention to your breath in your nostrils and in your throat. Then taking it deeper and paying attention to your breath in your nostrils, your throat, and your chest. And you can take it through the whole range of the chakras. You can concentrate on your belly. But the point is that you just pay attention to the sensation of your breathing. That's first level, because then what that does for you is it helps you to pay attention to paying attention, if you understand what I mean.
That's
most
powerful,
people,
that's powerful.
You understand?
Yeah, that's powerful.
So you pay attention to paying attention.
Attention, yeah.
You start to understand that you can concentrate. I do this with young people all the time.
Yeah.
Young people who the school say, this young man cannot concentrate, this young man is disruptive, this young woman, she cusses, and so on and so forth. When we do breathing exercises with them, and mindfulness exercises, they learn, as I already knew, that they can concentrate, and that they do concentrate if they're given the opportunity.
Yeah. Just say that, you know, the other thing about breathing is very important, because I used to do martial arts many years ago, right? But the foundation was is the breathing, you know, and the meditation, right? And that self-discipline, because something you had to do all the time and practice at home and everything. And, you know, it's only after about 4 months you see the benefit of it.
Yeah.
You know, you really do see the benefit of it, you know what I mean? Right? And I've kind of forward the wagon just a little bit, because I don't do anything so much now, right? But even every so often I do a bit of breathing and meditation and so forth, and I do see the benefit. But the breathing is, you know what I mean, it cripples fear as well. It really can go, you know, like I said, if you're anxiety and a man's going to try to test you, whatever, you start anchor yourself and breathing everything,
Yeah.
you're in control, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you are.
You're in control. Yeah.
Think about it this way. When you're fearful, how do you breathe? It's like this.
Yeah. Shadow breathing. Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
So obviously,
Yeah.
just by mechanics,
Yeah.
if you stop doing and do it,
Yeah.
it's a state. It's a change of state.
Yeah.
An
State.
immediate change of state.
Yeah.
Right.
When
Yeah.
you change your physical
Yeah.
state, you change your mental state.
Yeah.
Serious.
And just to write on that, and I'm glad to see you kind of write, you bring that because those who are in a state, say depression or going through anxiety or whatever, right? If you get in a habit, and it says a discipline, just learn to breathe, I'll go in the park, just breathe and just gentle exercise, just the breathing, you will change your state. Chris, you will change your, because everything down to a state,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we check, like I said, if someone's anxiety, if you observe somebody who's depressed, right? Shadow breathing, shoulder is down and they're talking very slowly and whatever, right? But if you could just change their state, to breathe and to exercise, you can actually change that person there. A lot of the state, yeah.
A lot is to do with state. You reminded me there's a young man I was mentoring, and he used to get angry. And when he get angry, nobody could talk to him, and he'd walk around. You look like if you say something to this youth, he's gonna beat somebody down, So I gave him, I taught him a breathing exercise, and then about a year later, I said to him, "So how's it going then? How's it going with his breathing exercises?" And he said, "You know what, Shola? Yeah, the thing is, when I get angry, it doesn't work. I can't do it like." And I said, "Oh, is it?" He said, "Yeah." I already knew why he couldn't do it, so I said to him, "You do." He did some martial art called Iado, I don't remember the name of the martial art he did, right? But he did a martial art, and he'd progressed enough to move through a few belts. So I said to him, when you master a form, at the beginning when you're mastering that form, can you do it? He said no. I said, so how do you get from not being able to do it to being able to do it? He said, well, I practice. I said, do you practice enough so that you can do it without thinking when you do the grading? And he said, yeah, it's in my body when I do the grading. And then as I was saying it, he had a realization. He said, oh, do you mean I'm supposed to practice the breathing like that? Like practice the breathing when I'm not angry? I said, hey, now you're understanding. Because he was only practicing it when he was angry. Thinking, like teachers say to you, count to 10. Count to 10, breathe.
Yeah.
But if you're already like this and you don't know anything about breathing, it doesn't mean anything. It's just like going over your head. But if you practice it regularly, when you are under stress, you will also do it.
You know what's interesting? I was watching a game of football the other day. I can't remember the team, but they had to take a penalty, right? And before he took the penalty, right, you could see that he was just breathing and just relax. He don't take a penalty. You just observe them, the breathing, right? And that's to calm them down and focus, Yes. But people understand that breathing is just the key, liberated, So like, it's a discipline. It's a big discipline.
I just like to say what it is as well. You just got one of the biggest problems, especially with our youth, is this so-called ADHD. And basically when you break down this so-called mental disorder, it's basically paying attention. Unable to keep still. So basically, what you're saying is breathing and meditation is the cure to our
because these youths, right, they eat in chicken and chips every single afternoon.
Yeah.
Chicken and chips with all those chemicals, not even real chicken anyway, and also it's kept in such a way that the chicken's life is miserable, the chicken's life is miserable, the spirit that the chicken has lived with and dies with is toxic. So they're eating all that.
Right. So you say it's not real chicken. What do you mean? What is it then?
What I mean is, it's not. I should have said not real chicken.
No,
What I should have
so
said
people hearing this for the first time, they
Yeah.
will know what you.
What I mean is the chicken it's not been fed properly.
Right.
It's pumped full of hormones.
Right.
Sometimes it's too old. Sometimes
Right.
it's diseased, and then because they turn that chicken into pulp by putting it in. See, if those of you who don't know, if you don't believe me, just go and check out how they make fast food chicken on YouTube. They put it all the bits, all the diseased bits that you would never eat. They put it into a big vat. It goes through this machine, produces a pulp, and that's a pulp that they serve you when you go to the chicken and chip shop. Particularly if you have things like nuggets and the chicken wings. Sometimes when you get chicken wing and they don't have bone, you have to ask yourself how come. So, but apart from that, these young people are also. A lot of them.
So before you move on, you said now the spirit of the chicken when it's can you just break that down before you move on to the?
Everything has a spirit. See,
Right.
in Africa, our ancestors always understood that the spirit was what they call immanent as well as eminent, meaning that it's here for our use and also it's everywhere. So when an African makes a shrine, he's not praying to a rock. What he's doing is recognizing the spirit in stone, for example. Not just that stone, but stone, because it's part of the earth. So he's connecting with the earth. Now, the chicken has a spirit just like you, just like me. And that spirit, if it is nurtured well, will be a joyful spirit. But if it is not, it will be a spirit of fear. And that spirit of fear remains after the body dies. So therefore,
Right.
you eat that spirit. A chicken that, just imagine if you were kept in a little box and you knew that you were in that box because someone's going to come and kill you soon and eat you. How do you think your life would be? You know. So it's the same thing for the chicken. It's not happy. At least back home, the chickens are running about.
Right.
You know. So they are joyful actually because they're just doing what they would do anywhere.
Right.
Yeah. Oh yes. So
Yeah. So.
with the youths, what I'm saying is that many of them are living with what I would call post-traumatic stress. They are in households where they're witnessing things that we don't want to talk about. You know, they're beaten, they're abused in different ways. They see their parents abused in different ways. The African heritage ones of us, the melanated ones of us, also have ancestral stress through being enslaved, through being colonized, and that's all kept in ourselves. So then they go to a school. And that school, first of all, they go to a nursery. In the nursery, they say, oh, look at Tyrone, he's stressed. Give him a paintbrush. So Tyrone's there painting, and he's happy he's painting. There's one teacher there that he loves. That teacher loves that teacher is fierce. She protect Tyrone even if people are saying that Tyrone's a bad child and say, well, no, I don't think you should do that, and so on and so forth. That's what Tyrone gets in nursery. Tyrone goes to primary school, year 1. Now, he's still getting much of the same, but there's more rules and regulations. Now, Tyrone doesn't have order in his life because, so stereotypically, his dad beats his mum. His mum cusses his dad. He's got brothers and sisters that he doesn't know. His family is such that his brothers and sisters are in competition instead of being together. So they're always lying about each other, always trying to hurt each other, grinning and smiling behind their parent when one gets punished, so on and so forth. So that's his life. And in school, the same thing starts to happen to him where teachers start to punish him and start to single him out for punishment. And the teachers don't try to understand him. So if Tyrone is moving about like this, Instead of saying, oh, maybe Tyrone is a potential drummer, they say, Tyrone, you need to keep still because we're in a lesson. If Tyrone is talking, they don't say, Tyrone, I can see you're a communicator. No, they say, Tyrone, you're talking all the time. We're going to call your parents in, etc., etc. If Tyrone keeps doing that...
Good point.
Yes.
Good point.
So if Tyrone keeps doing that, by the time Tyrone gets to year 3, year 4, the profile is being built on Tyrone. They've started to call social services because they're saying, well, I saw Tyrone's mum. Tyrone's mum was unkempt. She didn't come to the parents' evening. We don't know who is the man that Tyrone's living with at the moment. At the same time, they've referred him to CAMS. Children and adolescent mental health, you know, for a troubled 6-year-old, 7-year-old, 8-year-old, a troubled 6, 7, 8-year-old who, if he or she was given consistent loving care, wouldn't be troubled. But oh no, what we do instead is refer them to other people who don't know Tyrone, don't even care about Tyrone, but do care about their 38 grand salary, and who are following a paradigm based on text that was written for Europeans by Europeans. And they're using this to analyze Tyrone. Then they start to say to Tyrone, you have ADHD. Do you know that the young people today will tell you, they'll tell you what their thing is. I've got ADHD. Oh, I'm on a high performing autistic spectrum. Oh, I've got this, I've got that. I'm on this medication. That's the next thing. Then they start giving them medication.
I just want to cut you there. So what is the effect of the child having this label now that it's attaching itself to? What effect does that have on the child?
Well, a name is a resonance. It's a resonance. It has an impact on you. You remember that nursery rhyme, sticks and stones will break my bones, but names will never hurt me.
Lie.
A dirty lie. It's a lie. It's a lie. You know, it's a lie.
Right, yeah.
So when you say to a child, you've got ADHD, you're bad. You're badly behaved. And to tell you the truth, you know, when I was at school, at least they were more honest about what they thought, because they used to call it educationally subnormal. So they would tell you, we think there's something wrong with you. Nowadays they say, there's nothing wrong with you, you've got special needs. But they act like there's something wrong with you. So that makes you even more crazy, because you're telling me there's nothing wrong with me, and you're calling it special needs, but you're acting like there's something wrong with me. So what do you mean there's nothing wrong with me? Why are you acting like that then? You're acting like when I'm in secondary school now, you're restraining me. It's no longer that it's just medication. Now, if I while out, you're jumping on me, you're holding me, you're throwing me into a room, you're locking the door, school to prison pipeline. It's happening right there, and then you exclude me, you send me to a PRU. It's happening, then I'm going into the PRU, press a buzzer, door open, walk in, lock the door behind me, go to the next set of doors, key, open it, go in, lock the door behind me, go into the classroom, lock the door in the classroom. I've been into a few PRUs, bro. This is how PRUs operate. If I while out, take me out of there, put me in a room, lock the door behind me. Where's the difference between that and prison? There's not much difference. Tell me that I need my education. What is education? Education, educia, means to draw from within, basically. But I'm not asking you to draw anything from within. What I'm asking you to do is learn this that I've told you to learn, and I will test you on remembering what I told you to learn, whether or not it is relevant.
So I just want to specify that educe means to draw out, yeah, but they're drawing out what they want. Just like when you train a dog, you know, I want to draw out that dog for it to be passive. I want to draw out of that dog to follow orders.
Well, I would say that it's not even drawing out. I would say it's imposing down. It's putting in. It's like saying a child is empty. Let me just lift up its head, put this knowledge in it, and then go out tie a bow around it,
Right,
call it a
right.
degree, say off you go. But think about people who are truly expressing their genius. They always think outside the box.
Yeah.
The most successful people are sometimes not educated at all formally. Malcolm X, for example, is a man who never went to university. But as my brethren and mentor Kimani Nahusi always used to say, he said, but he taught at every major university. They called him, why? They recognize his genius. They know that genius is not taught in schools. That's why the upper class take their children horse riding, mountain climbing. They take them on journeys. They give them rites of passages. They challenge them. And then they tell us we shouldn't challenge our children. They make the learning baby learning. Like if a child is disturbed by the learning, they try to mollycoddle them and say, "Oh, are you upset? Okay, look, okay, you don't have to do it. You go sit down there and play with the toys, and we'll teach everybody else." It's a really the reason that they say that children are mad is because if they told the truth, they would have to say, "We are mad. We're mad, and we make the children mad." You know, but obviously they can't say that. So they say we are the experts and they are mad, bad, crazy, whatever.
And another thing as well in relation to the labelling is it's like predetermining an outcome. So it's fortune. They've got fortune telling. This is fortune spelling. Because basically, you know, they're telling you, like, just like when you go to a fortune teller, they're saying, oh, you're extrovert, you're Aries, so that means you have vision, you have strength. At the same time, when they say, as you say, ADHD, they're foretelling the child its future, and the child in that mindset will take on that fortune that's been told to them by the so-called authority.
Well, you said something else, and it brings me right back to storytelling, actually. You said fortune spelling. So it is a magic spell. Really, literally, if I give you an invocation, I get you to repeat that invocation, it will have an impact on your mind. So if that invocation is something like black people are always late, black people can't organize anything, black people fight each other, black families are are dysfunctional, so on and so forth. You yourself, you will start to believe that, and you even start to replicate it. So look at the youths, the music they listen to. I said to this this guy who loved drill, a youth, I said something about the impact that drill can have on you, and he said, yeah, but it doesn't mean that just because like I listen to drill, yeah, it don't mean that I'm going to go out and stab somebody in it. And I said, it doesn't, but answer me this question. Is there anybody you know who has stabbed somebody that doesn't listen to drill? And he was saying, no, you got a point there, fam, but it's true that all them youths, they're listening to music that's just talking about stabbing somebody from the next ends. They're talking about women as objects, like not women. The women are not humans, they're just a body. And that body is just there for me to take my pleasure on, basically, you know. Storytelling is understanding narrative. So all of us here are storytellers in some way, because we bring a different narrative to our situation.
I just want to just going by what you're saying, because basically this is what happens. As you said invocation, so the science behind the storytelling. If you tell me something, for me to understand or stand under it, I've got to create that reality in my head, you know. So as you said, if you say no, black people are bad, I've got to be able to create that vision in my head for me to be able to stand under what you said. So as you're saying, invoking, it means that you're opening the door for somebody else to create that reality in them, just by me listening to that what you said.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and music is a vibration too. So the original griots, they would play the kora. Now the kora, that's an instrument from heaven, if you like. That kora is a healing instrument. They used to play it to heal things like mental illness. Also the imbira, if you know the imbira, some people call it the thumb piano, but in Zimbabwe, they've taken that to a different level, and they use it to take people on spiritual journeys. And they use words and paint narratives at the same time. Now, most of the storytellers over here, including myself, have not been formally trained by master storytellers of generations. It's just come somehow ancestrally. And so we know what we don't have. So I know that I don't have the skill to play the kora. But I do also know that I can collaborate with people who can play the kora so that I can have that same impact through the storytelling. And it's important now. It's important to create a paradigm shift. We've always said the youth of the future. Sometimes it sounds like a cliche, but the reality is that when we're gone, it's them that's going to be there. And if they, particularly the ones that represent us, who live just down the road there and there, if they are the ones that are representing us, and already now at the age of 15, they're saying, "Where do you need my ends from?" and stabbing up somebody because they're from Wood Green, as if they own Broadwater Farm, as if they even own a brick in Broadwater Farm, a post box. But they're saying it's my ends. That's because they don't understand what "my" means. They don't understand it. They don't know that what they're saying is not only madness, it's stupid. It's foolish.
What does "my" mean? What you said, they don't understand what "my" means?
Yeah, "my."
What does "my" mean?
"My," the only... let me tell you it this way. Did you ever think of what the ancestors were thinking when they made it so that in our original culture, everybody ate from the same bowl? They serve a meal, or you might have two bowls, the adults in one bowl, the children in another bowl. But not everybody with an individual plate and their own knife and fork and their booth. But everybody there in the same bowl. What were they thinking? They were thinking about we. When the anthropologists went to Suriname and they found what they call bush Negroes. And these bush Negroes who were Africans, Maroons, people who remembered their ancestry and their language and their culture fully. When they said to them, what is your name? Your name. They replied, "I am Bakongo." No, yeah, but what's your name? "I am Bakongo." What's your individual name? "I am Bakongo." In other words, I'm my people. Even the word Bantu means the people. Ubuntu. Another anthropologist, I love these white anthropologists because they tell us things by accident. They don't mean...
What does anthropologist mean?
It means study of humans. I mean,
okay, fine, cool.
Man,
cool.
You know, so they, where was it? Kenya. I may be wrong about the place, but they went to, I think it was Kenya, and he did this studying the natives that they like to do. And then when he'd finished, he said, "I've got some sweets here. What I want you to do is race. The person that gets to that tree first gets all the sweets." What happened next astonished him, which is why we know about this today. All of the children walked in a line with their arms around each other, got the bag of sweets, and shared the sweets. And then the man said to the fastest one, that he knew who was the fastest one, he said, "Why did you not get this bag of sweets for yourself? You could easily have got this bag of sweets." And she said to him, "How could I be happy if my brothers and sisters are unhappy?"
Unhappy, yeah.
You see that?
Yeah. But just to write on what you're saying, right? The whole thing about being stupid and ignorant. And I remember my teacher said to me a few years ago, he goes to me, "If you're stupid and ignorant, there'll always be a business." And he went on to say that intelligence rules the world. So I want to run on what you said there, you know what I mean, about our young people, them. And we have to tell it as it is, they're being stupid and being ignorant, you know? And that's why they always be a business for the system, you know?
Yeah.
Tell it as it is,
It is.
you know?
It is.
Intelligence rules the world.
Yeah. Intelligence rules the world.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, paradigm shift, we need to go back to our culture. Not just to say I'm African, but also to learn the things, the cultural things that used to promote intelligence for our ancestors. So drumming is not just about party, you know. Drumming is a healing thing to do. It's a healing thing to do. Having ceremony, like, so for example, Rastafari, when they do Nyabingi, if you've ever been to Nyabingi, then you know what I'm talking about, the impact that the Bingi has on you as a person in your soul, as a deep healing as you sing those songs and you chant with your brethren and your sister. Not only that, but movement. We used to dance. We still dance. Fortunately, that's the one thing that we haven't lost anywhere. That's, you know, we haven't lost that at all. But even in the 80s, we used to dance differently, because in the 80s, we used to do the same dances together. Remember them times when everybody would do like line dances almost? Everybody go that way, then this way, then back, and all them things. They still do it through that candy dance nowadays. But that's only one from all the dances that we used to do together, you know what I mean? Because dancing together creates a sense of community. You feel like your brother is your brother and your sister is your sister when you're dancing with them, you know?
But dance is in fact, we were talking about this earlier on today, dance is communication as well. It's a language as well, you know? Because when you dance with a sister, or sisters dance with a brother, or whatever the case would be, you know, you're mirroring each other. So you're communicating with each other, and you're, you know, mirroring their moves and everything. And it's communication, and it's a whole science behind that.
There's a science behind it.
There's a science behind it, right?
Is.
You know, and you know in talk, you just dance if your body movement. You know what I mean? That's your communication. You know what I mean? And yeah, it's powerful. It's powerful. There's a whole science behind dancing and music, and you know, and many people come together through dancing and through dance, and babies come through that as well. You know what I mean? Families and all that stuff there. It's a power.
It's a power.
It's a power. Yeah.
There's a Senegalese drummer and dancer called Yaya Diallo. He wrote a book called The Way of the Drummer. And in it, he describes his master telling him, oh yeah, go and sit by that tree. He just wanted to drum. That was his thing. He wanted to drum. He said, but master, Baba, why have to go sit by the tree? I want to drum. He said, just sit by the tree and listen. Listen to what? In the way of young people, you know. Yeah. So he was sitting by the tree, vexed, angry, agitated, sitting there, fall asleep, wake up, want to get up. His master says, stay there. So he would sit by the tree, until one day he was sitting by the tree, feeling vexed. He fell asleep. And as he was falling asleep, he heard the sound of the village. And in the sound of the village, he heard the women pounding. He heard the blacksmith. He heard the people in the fields singing whilst they were scything. Oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah, so on and so forth. And he realized that the whole village, the sound of the village, was a symphony, was a harmonious symphony. And he told his master, and his master said, hey, now you understand. It is through the sound of the village and the harmony of the village that we can understand the wellness of the village or the illness. Because if it's a discord, that means there is illness and bad mind in that village, you know? So the drummers of ancient times, the musicians of ancient times were not just entertainers. They were not just entertainers. This is what we have been led to believe. Think back to the 1960s and 70s. You had the Jackson 5, not Michael Jackson, the Jackson 5.
Yeah.
Not Lionel Richie. You had the Commodores.
Yeah.
There was no Diana Ross.
The Supremes. Yeah.
And this was the case with all of these groups. Who were these groups? They were families, or they were friends. They grew up on the same blocks.
Yeah.
So when they separated them, not only, it was not a simple thing. It was like betrayal.
Yeah.
Betrayal. Imagine the feelings. Your brethren, the person you've been with your whole life.
Yeah.
You've had their back in fights. Your families share.
Yeah.
And then suddenly they go off and make all the money and leave you in the cold.
Yeah.
Imagine that feeling. That's what they did. They did it on purpose. So that animosity prevented them from being unified and from realizing their potential as musicians. Imagine the Jackson 5. Remember that tune, Can You Feel It?
Yeah.
Even today, that still has a power on me, that tune. Imagine if they'd continued making tunes like that. You know? Imagine if, after some time, all of those groups started to work together. So that it wasn't just Aretha Franklin saying R-E-S-P-E-C-T, but all of them were saying that.
Yeah.
Imagine, can you imagine, for us people, for us in particular, African people, music is a powerful force. It can turn us from sleeping giants into roaring lions. That's what Rasta did in the 1970s. That's what conscious hip-hop did in the 1990s with Public Enemy and KRS-One and all them kind of people.
Yeah.
That's why they brought in, what a man called, niggas with attitude. That's why they gave them more money. Because their message was a message of dissolution and division. So they gave them money, they promoted them.
Yeah.
Public Enemy were right when they said fear of a black planet. You know? So, but me, I'm not that revolutionary. I'm not that one that's going to carry placards in the street. I'm quietly just saying, yo, it's not about fighting against white people, you know. It's about working with ourselves. Elevate ourselves. Elevate yourself, elevate myself, elevate we.
Well, Shola, we could be talking to you for the next 2 months, so we still ain't even touched the surface of your power, you know, and your display of what the mechanics are. So if people want to get to know more about you, is there any contact, anywhere that people can contact you?
Yeah, people can do that. So Facebook, Shola Story, S-O-L-A Story, S-T-O-R-Y, Shola Story. Facebook, Rebirth of the Griot. Come to the showcase every last Thursday of the month at Tottenham Sports Centre. I believe it's 703 the High Road, but it's near the Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. And every last Thursday of the month from 7 to 10 p.m, there's a showcase of storytellers, myself included, people like Alim Kamara, Usipu Jallo, Griot Chinyere, just excellent storytellers, as well as poets and comedians like Mapon Siminia. There is just a wealth of talent on display every single last Thursday of the month. So you can come there. You can get my book, which is called Nainka's Daughter, from those same sources as well. And that's a book about an African sister that overcomes monstrous odds in an indigenous way. And I kid you not, the indigenous ways are truly your way. It's indigenous to you. It's indigenous to your spirit. The European, who I'm not dissing in particular, but saying that the European system has been about moving you from your indigenous knowledge so that you don't know yourself, so that you can't activate your own potential. Fortunately, the indigenous knowledge is still around. And one of the ways in which that is presented is through storytelling.
Absolutely excellent. And we will be also donating at one of Shola's books at the Speakers Club Awards this Sunday. So if you want to get hands on a signed copy of that book, you can come down this Sunday to St Anne's Library. And that's Sisbury Road, 5NW, N155PU. And as Dougie, you remember when I first came on the show today, I was bragging and boasting, and you see me stick out my chest, and I was full of words. Well, right there, I was sitting as a student here. You know, it's not often you hear me shutting my mouth and listening to the wisdom of Shola. So Shola, I'd like to salute you with the knowledge that you brought to the table, you know, and Yeah, have you got? We're having a public speaking workshop on the day. Is there one little gem you can give to anybody who's aspiring to be a public speaker? What they can do?
Yeah, definitely. I'll say
Oh,
it.
can you just move nearer to the microphone so we can hear you loud and clear?
I will say it again. Control your breathing. Learn to breathe. So when I'm talking from my belly, which is where my breath also is. So I breathe in and I breathe out. So practice doing that. Just practice. So you're making a sound with the breath, and then also make percussive sounds. Because exactly, because when we're telling stories, that's what we're doing. If I say, and a man came into the town, that's different from, and a man came into the town. Remember also your cadence. That is the spacing between the words and the rhythm in which you speak.
So you're making the sound. So you're making the sounds when you breathe out, is it?
Yeah.
So the sounds are coming, the vibrations when you're breathing out.
Well, you said HM. I mean, it's actually more than that. So I'm making sounds when I breathe in as well. You know? So it's quite deliberate. So if I'm saying, particularly if I'm telling a story and I'm saying, the ancestors shall come, and so I'm making when I'm breathing in, but I'm not breathing quietly. You can hear that because it's providing a trampoline, if you like, for the next thing. So there are things that we can do, and through Rebirth of the Griot, we will be teaching eloquence and storytelling, and also training people so that they can go to the Speakers Club and actually speak at the Speakers Club as well.
You need to come and train the Speakers Club as well.
Well, if you're invited,
that is an invitation to the next Speakers Public Speaking Workshop.
All right,
You're taking that one?
Yeah, well, okay. I will take it. Lady Essie, who's in the Speakers Club, she hosts it, right?
That's right, yeah.
So she also hosts Rebirth of the Griot as well.
Okay, great.
You know, so there's a connection.
There's a connection already.
And we'll cement
we've got a connection already. Just in the way us two are exchanging dialogues, we have that connection anyway. So it's just a matter of time where we take it to the next.
Yeah, and his brother Dougie.
And of course,
I've been hooking up with his brother for like decades now, isn't it? In one way or another, you know. Yeah.
So that's great. So I know we're at the time where we've got this weekend's a busy program for everybody. What are you going to be doing this weekend?
It's actually my fiance's birthday.
Oh well, a happy pre-birthday greetings from Bless, myself, Jammers, also brother Dougie. Yes. Yes. So, Dougie, what you're going to be doing this weekend?
Well, this week I'm on one rose to the.
Oh yeah, you're going to be at the Speakers Club, aren't you? Yeah. Hopefully, you will be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Well, Shola, just like to say once again, thank you for your excellent work. We're going to have you back sooner rather than later. Keep up the excellent work, and I've really been taking a lot of wisdom in there. It's not very often that I keep my mouth quiet, so sometimes you need that humbling experience to keep yourself on the ground, so stop your head swelling too big, So at least I can get the door now.
Yeah, man.
Okay. Right, respect. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Respect.
Thank you for the invite, man. Yeah.
It's not coming through.
So I never knew this is here and SLR's down there as well. Oh.
It's not coming through. No, it's not coming through. So, all right then, let's just.
Let me sign.
You see the energy. Oh.
So this is your copy. The one for the Speakers Club, just like a general kind of thing.
They have a bunch about football and within the barbershop and things. When it comes to personal things, like things like the prostate, diabetes, all them things, they keep to themselves. See? And that's the one chance we have. And the funny thing is that my brethren of mine, right, who, for certain thing, hang himself, right? But he my favorite is one of them sweet boys still, see? Right? And even though he had everything, he did have nothing. And it's a shame because if it comes to, you know, people like myself and other people, at least we could let off and share. And that is why it's very important for men to express themselves and have like a, we call men with circle, men with voices, circle, where we have to come together and to share and to let off. See? Very, very important. So this is a very powerful event. And I don't know what's happening now because I want to start this program now. People might be alright to get things going. See? So yes, big up every single time. Yes.
Lord, it could be sudden destruction.
Yes, it's a very powerful event. You can see the energy. You know, people are just letting out, people are talking, people are networking. And again, it's very important for men to talk, because men don't talk. You know what I mean? Women talk to strangers, girlfriend and friends and everybody. Men don't want, men will talk. They have a bunch about football and when in the barbershop and everything. When it comes to personal things, like things like the prostate, diabetes, and them, they keep to themselves. See? And that's the one chance we have. And you know, the funny thing is that my brethren of mine, you know, right, who hang himself, right? But he my favorite is one of them sweet boys still, see? Right? And even though he had everything, he did have nothing. And it's a shame because if it comes to, you know, people like myself and other people, at least we could let off and share. And that is why it's very important for men to express themselves and have like a, we call men with circle, men with voices, circle, where we have to come together and to share and to let off. See? Very, very important. So this is a very powerful event, and I don't know what's happening now because I want to start this program now. People might be alright to get things going. See? So yes, big up every single time. Yes.
Lord, it could be sudden destruction.